How's it going, everybody? Travis with Poised RC here. I have never done this before, so please bear with me. If my clickbait thumbnail brought you here, leave a thumbs up. This is my littlest little girl, Mika. Got 4 others in the car back there. But we are in the middle of Missouri at this moment. We started from southern Indiana. We've been on the road since 8 a.m. and we are headed to Utah for Wercrock Nationals, and I am super pumped. Brought the whole family out. We're gonna play with some RC cars and have a really good time. Really excited as well to meet up with some of my Arizona buddies. I haven't seen them in a little while since my last trip to Utah. My family didn't get to come last time, but they are here with me this time, and I'm super excited about it. But yeah, all the boys from Arizona, we're gonna go tear up them rocks, and I can't wait. I did get some clips along the way of the some of our travels and some of the things we saw, so I'll get you caught up with that real quick. And then after this, we'll continue our trip till we make it there. To our next stop, we are officially in Kansas, getting some gas at the QT, probably grab some snacks and stuff like that, get stretched out and back on the road. Well, that's it for our first travel day. 1,000 miles. We're 20 miles from the Colorado state line, all the way from southern Indiana. We're gonna turn in, get some sleep, and hit it hard again tomorrow. Road this morning. We jetted up through Nebraska, hit the little corner, well, into Colorado. We're about an hour away from meeting up with Cody with Colorado Adventure Club, and we'll check back in when we get there. Hey, where's our next stop after Colorado?
Utah!
All right, let's go. What's up, my boy? How's it going?
How's the drive?
Good, good. Doing all right?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Hell yeah, dude, me too. Well, guys, I'm gonna get caught up with him real quick and I'll get right back at you. Here in Utah, and we have been putting down some serious miles. If you've put up with the views that I've been showing you all along the way so far, I greatly appreciate it. It's just too beautiful not to document in some sort of way. Also, if you're not from the West and you haven't been out West, I 10 out of 10 recommend. Come on out here, check it out. This place is absolutely stunning. This trip through Utah has been absolutely incredible, and I couldn't think of a better way to spend some time with my family than coming out here, playing with some RC. About 2 hours away from Cedar City, so we're going to keep pushing, get to that We RC Rock Nationals West, and hopefully lay down a solid run on Sunday in the 1.9 Pro Mod. Also was able to late entry into 2.2 Unlimited. I don't have dig in that class, so I'm going to give it my best, but I don't expect a very good result. I'm just, going to have some fun and have a great time with my friends. So I'll catch back up to you guys once we get there. We're here. We made it to Cedar City, We RC Rock Nationals, and I'm going to go get checked in, see everybody, and check out some rigs. Alright guys, it is comp day here at Wercrock Nationals in Cedar City, Utah with 1.9 Pro Mod and 2.2 Unlimited. I'm going to share a few clips from my runs of 1.9 Pro Mod, and then I'll show you the finals of 1.9 Pro Mod and 2.2 Unlimited, which I made both of. So here's a quick run through of course 2 or 3, I believe it was 2. Coming up on gate 1, this one was really tough. It doesn't look too bad just kind of to the eye, but it was kind of off camber and there was nothing to really grab onto, not a lot of grip in this area. I ended up just taking the gate. Pretty much everyone else did too. There to the left was the only way through. This was another tough gate that I really struggled with. The entry kind of pushed your rear end around. A couple people did make it through, but they kind of had to like jump through it. I was not so lucky in this, and I ended up also taking the gate, as you can see there. Next into gate 3 was this little V-notch going downhill. Not too bad, navigated it pretty easily, and we're gonna move into the next bonus. After finally getting turned around, just give a little bump to get started. This hill was steeper than it looks, but I finally was able to catch traction and get that minus 15 points after taking 20 points on those 2 gates. Gate 4 was also incredibly difficult. I think the dismount caused me to hit just the one. So that's 30 points, and then this was another this whole course was very, very tough.
Spend your time here.
I incurred a lot of penalty points through gates, but luckily the bonuses, I was able to drive them nice and clean. This one I was just trying to climb. Ended up just bringing the dig into action, getting the front bit down, re-engaging it back into four-wheel drive, and climbing right up. When I say climbing right up, I mean I slid for a little bit, but I ended up finding traction, just kind of waiting for it, hunting for it, and then eventually find traction, climb through, and continue along the course.
You can work the chassis over the cone, just not the tires.
Yeah.
Yep, pull out. Yes. Yes.
Once we finally find traction, get on through there. So here's my finals run. I'm going to show you it in its entirety and how good or bad. I went into finals in 5th place, and I finished in 5th place. I'm very happy with my runs overall. National level event, finishing top 5. I'm totally okay with that. Gate 1, navigated no problem. Gate 2 had a weird entrance, so wrapped it around so I could bring it in from the high side and just try to sneak it on through there. This was a little harder than it looks, but it really wasn't too bad. Just come in high, drop down into the little crack, and also make sure that the rear end stays in that crack and doesn't pop out of it, because if it does pop out of it, you risk hitting that cone on the lower side. Gravity's always wanting to pull you down. That's why we enter high. As you can see, I've got my tire down in the crack, and that is keeping me from hitting that cone. And I'm just hoping that my rear does the same without hitting the one on top as well.
Progress on 2.
Now that we're through, just engage the dig, get turned around so we can get down to gate 3, which was in the middle of a V-notch, but you had to go through it crooked. So my first attempt at going in just didn't have the right approach. So here in a second you're going to see I'm going to detour and go turn around and hit it from a different angle. Every time you reverse, you get penalties. So instead of taking a reverse to reposition, you just drive around and get repositioned that way. Here I'm engaging the dig to get my front end, approach it from the high side. I probably could have drove this a little different and better, because I ended up hitting both cones, so that's a nice fat 20-point penalty that I'm about to get.
Oof. Don't do it. Okay, take it.
You know, they say hindsight's 20/20, but when you're in the moment, sometimes you don't, especially if you're not used to comping all the time, you don't really realize where your car is at all times. And that's kind of what happened there with that second cone. I shouldn't have hit that. This downhill V-notch navigated it pretty well. Get down through here. Yeah, almost took a stumble there. I'm just going to wrap around for this bonus going up this notch. This one really wasn't too bad. I was able to wedge myself in, find the traction, and pull myself on up. You know, it's really easy to approach this incorrectly and have one tire end up too high or another tire too low, and it puts you out of position and really mess you up going into the gate. Luckily, I was able to keep the rear end level and pull right on up through there.
Nice drive. Bonus progress clean.
Now that we're through that bonus, just going to hit the dig, get turned around so I can come down for this next bonus gate. I'm going to give it a shot, but it was really slick. And I really don't know why I went all the way down there to turn around, looking back again. Stupid move, but you know, it is what it is. I was the first to run this course, and we did it blind. So even if I didn't run first, I would not have been able to watch anyone else run to see what the kind of the conditions were. Really interesting way they did it, but I didn't mind it at all. There's another reverse. I said, screw it, not enough grip. Car weighs too much, so we're out of here. Going up for gate 5 now. This one, holy crap, no traction at all. I struggled so hard to get up here. You know, when you're on the clock and your car's not going where you're telling it to, it gets really stressful, because the last thing you want to do is kind of run out of time before you get to the finish, because it's a DNF, and don't nobody want to do that in front of a crowd. I'm usually very nervous when I compete, and I shake really bad. This one I really wasn't too bad until you'll see on the 2.2 finals course, where my hands are a little jittery, but you know, we pulled through pretty good on that one, and we'll talk about that one later. And finally, I'm able to get my front wheels up on top to pull myself over. Pretty sure I hit that gate. No, didn't hit that gate. Got very close to it. Run it over to the finish line, get the front axle through, get that time stopped.
Good job.
And the 2.2 finals course. This one we started facing kind of backwards, had to do a little U-turn coming out straight into a downhill. Use that rear steer to keep my rear end up to give me a nice approach going down. This in real life looked like it was straight down. This car I didn't have very high expectations of, because I don't have any dig function in this one, just my steering and 36% overdrive. But I was able to navigate gate 1 nice and clean. Really proud of this run. I did really well in my eyes. This nice little off camber entry. Just had to keep that rear tire just hovering right on the edge of that rock, just to keep it pushed downhill as far as I could, so I could keep that front end from pushing, because you're all kind of facing downhill, so your car constantly wants to push. But luckily it didn't push into that gate, and I was able to drive right on through there, no problem. Now that we're through there, the next bonus was right here and really easy. Just a little U-turn right on the edge of this rock, just keeping it just giving myself the best chance possible to get through it. That rear steer really comes in handy. You're gonna see my remote twitching there. That's because my hands shake because I get adrenaline rushes real bad and I just can't hold still. But we were able to get through this bonus nice and clean and get that 15 points.
Time? 3:52.
So got through 2 gates nice and clean. So I'm gonna rush over here to gate 3. A lot of people, when we were pre-walking the course, were kind of concerned about this one. I was really happy that I was able to just climb right up, get my rear end up on that rock, and give myself the best chance possible to get through this gate clean as well, which I did. Very happy about that. Point. Now the next gate, gate 4, was kind of hard to get to. You had to go around a bonus gate, which was on a side hill, which if you slid off of it was a nice tumble a couple feet down, and you risk kind of needing a rollover or whatever. I was able to navigate that pretty easily, but this gate was the toughest gate of the day on the finals. No one got through this clean. Only me and one other person actually climbed it from the bottom. The last 3 competitors, I went second. The last 3 competitors actually drove it from the top and just got 2 tires through the gate on 1 tire on each axle because that's all that's required. But I got really nervous after this because I was worried I wasn't going to make it up. But I was able to recover the car, get back up there. I hadn't hit the gate yet, but I do hit it, and I take it a little to the left. But I was able to drive up through there. Like I said, everybody got that gate, so it kind of canceled itself out. And I wasn't really too worried about it, especially after watching some of the very serious drivers that were there also have to hit this gate as well. At this point, I don't know where the hell I'm going, so I drive into an oblivion like an idiot and have to reverse. I ended up with 1 gate penalty and 3 reverse penalties, which is 13 points of 13 penalty points. But you know, that's really not too bad considering the tools that I had at play. This one was pretty crazy. You had to drop that passenger side down in there to not hit that cone, but having the rear steer makes kind of doing that pretty easily. I was able to sneak on through there even with these big balloon tires. We navigated through there. At this point, I'm trying to decide if I should hit this bonus or not, and I was like, you know what, no guts, no glory. So I turn my little butt around and I say, yep, we're gonna go for it. So I drive back around it. On that, you can see that drop right there. Drive around it, get flipped around, and drive up right on through there too for another 15 points. Tacked off of my score because it's like golf, you want to finish with the lowest score possible. At this point, it's a race back to the start-finish line without hitting it or any other gates along the way. Zing on through there, get climbed up, hop up there to where the gate is, and you have to hit it from the opposite way in which you entered. So, quick little wrap around, and bang, all done.
Go, Trav!
Well, it's now a couple days later. We ended up driving down here to Arizona, hanging out with a bunch of my friends and just crawling and hanging out. The event was freaking awesome. I ended up finishing in 3rd on 2.2 Unlimited and getting a trophy. Pretty excited about that. Going in 2.2, I didn't have very high expectations, but I ended up driving really well. And going into finals 4th place and then coming out in 3rd place with that solid run of only having 13 penalty points total felt really good. And I'm really glad we came out here and seeing all my friends and hanging out and just getting to crawl and be out west again was just absolutely amazing. And I can't wait to do it again. Until next time. See y'all later.